You already know that thinking about an expensive abandoned car hurts, especially if you're driving one that hasn't attained the status, if you've ever seen one. You wonder why the founders took that action. They ought to have at least shown some sympathy by auctioning it off or donating it. That many cars might have been easily parked in a garage. The general public ought to have been at least at ease, not struggling to figure out who left a car. But the history of some of these vehicles is fascinating. Let's just get into it anyway. Let's look at these luxury cars where their owners fell out sadly. Before starting, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. So let's start. Number 10.1965 Jaguar E-Type. It's concerning how many individuals leave their vehicles as gifts. For instance, the car that a husband purchased as a gift for his wife was virtually rusted when it was found. After then, the car was placed in a barn for more than 40 years, and nobody gave it another thought. Possibly obsessed with her husband, the lady got out of the car and vowed never to drive again. The family agreed that such circumstances made it necessary to avoid driving and focus on other responsibilities. Ironically, the Jaguar was not responsible for taking care of it. Years later, they found that the automobile was still using a barn to calm down and endure difficult conditions. This vehicle might bring in a lot of money at an auction. On the other hand, rebuilding and restoring the large car to seem brand new was also incredibly expensive and challenging. Number 9. Koenigsegg Trevita. The owner of the vehicle deserves some praise for choosing to park it in a garage as opposed to outside in the suffocating heat. The vehicle was also dropped. It doesn't matter as long as it was left in a secure place. The engine was warmed for more than 2 months, which is abandonment. There are only 3 Koenigsegg Trevitas in existence, and one of them is parked in a lot without its owner. A car that is so rare and fast ought to be treated with more reverence. Even the company that leases the parking space is astonished. Until the general public was aware that the fee would last for some time, it was accrued in 1,000 Swiss francs. Unexpectedly, the owner of this car could not have much time to sell their cars. Soon after, the owner bought and sold another extremely opulent car. Number 8. Ferrari Enzo. Debt is currently forbidden in Dubai. To bounce a check is a jail offense. Due to their crippling debt, expats decided to leave their automobiles, generally with the ignition key in the ignition and occasionally with maxed-out credit cards in the glove box, and leave the city for forever. This dusty Enzo is the final manifestation of this unsettling pattern. The British owner is thought to have run away with the £900,000 automobile after avoiding a few fines. The car was then taken away by the police. Following a barrage of reports that Enzo was going up for sale alongside 9 other vehicles, including a Ferrari 599 and a Ferrari 430 Spider, the authorities made their announcement. Plot is becoming more crowded. Number 7. Bugatti Type 57S. There were only 17 of these Bugattis in existence, and this one has been imprisoned in a garage for almost 40 years. Since the beginning of 1960, this Bugatti has never been on the road again. After the owner bought it, only a few rounds had been played before misery was established. The fact that it was kept in a shed and the owner was powerless to do anything about it is a plus. Such a car, and especially a vintage Bugatti, are quite hard to get in today's world, which is why the price increased. Old as gold, anything useful that came out of the abandonment. The lack of something caused the need. After the owner passed away in 2007, the family who had advertised the garage was shocked to learn that such a vehicle existed. The family that owned this car was lucky to learn that it could fetch a respectable sum at auction. Well, if everything goes according to plan, they won't even be able to catch $5 million. Is that not unbelievable? It's like a prodigal son coming home. Number 6. Rolls-Royce Phantom. This unique Rolls-Royce, or Centurion, was once owned by a well-known Las Vegas company and was abandoned along with one of the tires it was used with before being sold and transferred to Russia. No Rolls, regardless of how vulgar they may be, should be dumped, presumably crumpled, or quickly imprisoned, beside a suburban railway line, among the rubber used and other such rubbish. A brand new, unmodified Phantom will bring in £276,000 for you. Number 5. Shelby Daytona. A great automobile with a solid reputation was left as a joke for more than 30 years, but it's not. 6 Shelby models were produced in total. If it had revived its earlier days, it would have been before the cameras and in enormous, expensive garages, but that was a time that is no longer available. Ferrari was also defeated in the era's supercar, the Daytona, and it pains him to witness it in such a painful fashion. If the creator of this car had seen it, he would never have imagined going to all that bother to make it so renowned. A former racer who had such a platform and had won multiple championships served as the prototype for this vehicle. Along with finishing several courses before the Ferrari, he also left behind 6 accomplishments, one of which rotates and rots after 30 years. If he came upon one of the Shelby Daytonas in that condition, he would be hurt. This car's appearance demonstrates that it still performs admirably in modern times. Number 4. Bugatti Veyron. He seemed to have been ceremonially buried by the Bugatti's owner and covered in ash after an incident. Looking at the rear of this Bugatti makes it obvious that it was involved in a collision. But leaving rather than fixing it was simpler for the owner. So it was improved. The revolting thing is that this is the second priciest car on this list behind the Rolls-Royce in Russia. What then remains of this damaged state of Bugatti? Okay, so the motorcycle and this Bugatti were involved in a sport-like mishap. Aston Martin came up to her. This Bugatti's quick and refined road life had to be broken up by a small dent at the back. Number 3. Aston Martin DB5. Within the woods? Is it truly important? The absolute worst spot to leave a car is here. It is incomparably calm in comparison. It would have decayed along with its surrounding leaves if it had been left for a few more years. In fact, the back tires are starting to deteriorate since they can't be seen. Another example of an automobile going from rags to riches. This Aston Martin DB5 has been spared from this unimaginable pain, and repairs and improvements have been made so that it might regain its former splendor. Number 2. Jaguar XJ220. This Le Mans Blue XJ220 had only traveled 560 kilometers when it was found abandoned on the edge of a Qatari desert 3 years prior. Formerly superb, Jag was last spotted in Beirut, 6 years after it was first sold, before it was found. We sincerely hope that it still moves, although little is known about its current location. There were just 281 XJ220s produced. Today, one fine is available for about £150,000. Number 1. Ferrari F40. The oldest son of Saddam was Uday Hussein. He obtained a Ferrari F40 and a sizable collection of pricey automobiles during the First Gulf War, which he held until he was killed by American Special Forces in 2003. When Iraq was attacked in that year, the F40 apparently was at a garage in northern Iraq. It was left behind after Uday left, but you can still find it next to a filthy road in a remote area of Iraq. F40's exterior style has been valued at about £350,000. This is it for today's video. What do you think about these abundant cars? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. Thanks for watching.